Like every effort in life, there has to be a captain, and we had a great one in the majority leader. It had the patience and the willingness to work with us through all of this to bring us to this moment at 8:45 this evening when the Senate, by a substantial vote, passed the Wall Street reform legislation. Let me thank my colleagues, Senator Lincoln, obviously the chairman of the Agriculture Committee, but the members of the Banking Committee, the members of the leadership, like Dick Durbin and others, who were very instrumental in all of this. And while I can't name them here this evening individually, I want to thank the Banking Committee staff of the United States Senate, who just did a phenomenal job. There's no way I could calculate the hours spent over the last almost 2 years through literally hundreds of hearings and gatherings that we held and conducted in order to understand and do an autopsy on the events that brought us to almost our economic knees 18 months ago, and then began the very difficult work of trying to construct a piece of legislation that would fundamentally reform the architecture of the financial services industry of our country for the first time in almost 100 years. After events, as I say, that were as close to the Great Depression as any set of economic events have been since the 1930s. And so I will, at an appropriate time and place, name each and every one of them. But I'm particularly grateful to Eddie Silverman, the staff director of the committee, and Amy Friend, the legal counsel, who just did phenomenal work. And I thank you both and all the others associated with you. I said at the outset of this I had two goals. One was to pass a good bill, and we've done that. Any one of these major sections of the bill could stand almost as a piece of landmark legislation in and of themselves, whether you're dealing with consumer protection, the too big to fail concept, dealing with the look across the horizon at events that could put our nation at economic risk, and dealing with the kind of bright lights on exotic instruments that were such a principal cause of the economic difficulties we've been in. So I'm grateful for the work done to pull this all together. But beyond just writing a good bill, a strong bill, that would give our country once again a sense of confidence and optimism about our economy, if people aren't confident that the institutions on which they rely to deposit their hard-earned incomes, whether it be an insurance policy, a bank deposit, buying a stock, or engaging in other activity, a home mortgage, a car loan, if they don't trust and have faith that these institutions are going to protect them to the maximum extent possible, then our economy is in deeper trouble than any particular statistic I can cite. So the goal was here to establish that confidence and optimism once again in the American people. But also from a narrow perspective. I've spent 3 decades in the United States Senate. I'm going to be concluding a career here in a matter of days. And I wanted to demonstrate that the Senate of the United States could also conduct its business, much as our founders intended. And that is to have that full-throated, engaging, vibrant debate on a critical issue in front of our country. None as important as this one, in my view. And we did that. More than 60 amendments were considered. Half of them adopted, Democrats and Republicans. We began the debate on April 26th. This is May 20th. Almost 1 month has gone by as we've walked through this process, day after day, night after night, weekend after weekend, to bring us to the point we achieved this evening of passing this legislation. So again, I'm very grateful to all who've been involved in this and allowing us to come to this point. 8.5 million people lost their jobs in 18 months. 7 million homes have been lost. Retirement income has evaporated. Home values have declined. Those numbers can't even begin to speak of the hardship that people have been feeling as a result of what we've gone through. Those are just numbers out there. And so while we talk about these bills in the context of the Senate and Democrats and Republicans and who wins and who loses, almost as if we're an athletic contest, we can lose sight of what it really is designed to do. And that is to say to the people who lost those jobs, lost those homes, watched that retirement income evaporate, we never, ever, ever again want to see you go through this because your government failed to establish the rules, the regulations, and the safeguards that ought to protect you against those kind of behaviors that brought us to this point. And that's been the purpose of this legislation. Hardly perfect. Work needs to be done in a conference. Barney Frank and I have a wonderful working relationship, and we've had over the last 2.5 years, 3 years that I've been chairman of this committee. And we will do it again to come back to the Senate with a final product in the coming days. I hope before possibly the July 4th break to present our colleagues with a compromise package that will reflect what we've done here and what's been accomplished in the House of Representatives. So I apologize for taking a little more time in these remarks, but I want my colleagues to know how much I appreciate their support, their understanding, their patience with me as I tried to set up this program. It all began with my friend from California, who offered the very first amendment that said to the American people, never, ever again, we're going to allow your taxpayers' dollars to be used to shore up a financial institution that has brought us to near ruin in this country. And so it began with the Boxer Amendment, and it ended tonight with final passage a month later. So to all of my colleagues, I say thank you for the work you've done, and I look forward to the days ahead to finishing this final product.